Seeing Jesus clearly is something we sometimes struggle to do. We have a tendency to want to shape Jesus into our own image rather than being shaped into the image of God. Matthew's account of the Triumphal Entry says this: As they approached Jerusalem and came to Bethphage on the Mount of Olives, Jesus sent 2 disciples, saying to them, "Go to the village ahead of you, and at once you will find a donkey tied there with her colt by her. Untie them and bring them to me." The Triumphal Entry is the story of Jesus entering into Jerusalem from Jericho to finally claim to be the long-awaited Messiah. It is a story which is found not only in Matthew, but in all 4 gospel accounts due to the significance of this event. And it is surprising who it is in this account that sees Jesus clearly and who does not. Jesus' own disciples sometimes struggle to see him clearly. Peter made the great confession in Caesarea Philippi that Jesus was the Christ, the Messiah. But when Jesus told his disciples that he had to go into Jerusalem to die, to suffer at the hands of the elders, the chief priests, and the teachers of the law, and there he would die and be raised from the dead, Peter took Jesus aside and rebuked him, saying, "Lord, may this never be so." And Jesus had to rebuke him, telling him, "Get behind me, Satan. You do not have in mind the things of God, but mere human concerns." But there were those who saw Jesus more clearly than others. When Jesus was in Jericho, there was a short man named Zacchaeus who desperately longed to see Jesus. And so he climbed up in a sycamore fig tree so that he could see Jesus passing by. And in fact, Jesus saw him, and he said to him, "Zacchaeus, come down from that tree. I'm going to your house today." But when the people around saw that Jesus welcomed Zacchaeus, they muttered and said, "This man welcomes sinners." In their minds, that was not what the Messiah was supposed to do. When Jesus was leaving Jericho, there were 2 blind men who heard that Jesus was passing by. And so they cried out to Jesus and said, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on us." The crowds rebuked them and tried to get them to be quiet, and they shouted all the louder, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on us." Finally, Jesus stopped and asked them and said, "What is it that you want me to do for you?" And they said, "Lord, we want to receive our sight." And Jesus had compassion upon them. He healed them, and they could see. And with that sight, they followed Jesus along the road and became his disciples. Jesus entered into Jerusalem from Jericho, and when he came to the Mount of Olives and approached the vicinity of Bethphage or Bethphage and Bethany, he sent his disciples ahead of him to get a donkey. And Jesus rode that donkey down the Mount of Olives, and there he wept over Jerusalem, saying, "O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, how I long to gather you as a hen gathers her chicks under her wings, but you would not let me." Sadly, Jerusalem itself would be destroyed in AD 70 when the Roman Emperor Titus came in and destroyed the city and utterly destroyed the temple, leaving no stone left unturned. From there, Jesus went down the Kidron Valley and up the hill, entering into Jerusalem through the Golden Gate, a gate which is now shut today, but which was open during the time of Jesus. And when Jesus entered into Jerusalem, people laid down palm branches, and he rode in on a donkey. And when he did, people began to exclaim, "Hosanna, Hosanna, O Son of David, Hosanna in the highest. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Hosanna in the highest." And when Jesus entered in, the entire city was stirred, and people asked, "Who is this man?" And the crowds responded, "This is Jesus, the prophet from Nazareth in Galilee. So what is the significance of this event? Well, by entering in on a donkey, Jesus was very intentionally fulfilling Old Testament prophecy that said that the Messiah, when he entered into Jerusalem, would come in, yes, riding on a donkey. And the crowds recognized that Jesus was claiming this messiahship as he came into Jerusalem, riding in this way. But ironically, while the crowd chanted Jesus' praises, they failed to understand and see him for who he really is. For Jesus was not a conquering hero that was coming in to claim a golden throne, but instead a wooden cross. He came in riding not upon a conquering stallion, but upon a humble donkey. And Jesus was not just a prophet. He was not just a teacher. He was and is the Son of God. So how about you? What is it that you have not seen clearly about Jesus in the past? And what is it that you see more clearly about Jesus today? What kind of Messiah are you looking for? And who do you see Jesus to be?